obviously nothing morbid happened. Still here. I went in on Tuesday, and I stayed for a good 6 hours. And they, first of all, they gave me a pill to calm me down, and that's what they always do. They give you these little calming pills. And I said, hey, wait a minute, I'm not doing anesthesia. I'm not being completely knocked out, so you're going to have to give me, you know, the morphine too. And they had forgotten that I was going to be awake during the procedure, so they forgot to give me the morphine. So it was a good thing I said something. So they brought me these morphine pills, which are great. And I was really relaxed. I slept a little bit, and then they came and got me, and they took me to the operating room, where about 5 other women were having the same thing done, and I was the last one that they took. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I wasn't under anesthesia, but I was the last one, so I waited a long time for my little appointment. Once I was there, I laid there for a good long time just thinking, because I was in the actual room where you come back after you've been knocked out. So I got to see the people who were really groggy, and that's one of the things I don't like about the anesthesia, and that's why I don't take that direction, because I don't like that feeling afterwards. After the hour was up, they took me into the operating room, which is always a little bit scary. All those instruments lying around for you to gaze at while you're waiting. And they put my legs in these sort of stirrups, like, you know, up way up in the air. And that's pretty disagreeable. Modesty pretty much flies out the window at that point, because you've got about 6 people in the room, or at least in my situation I did, and one was a young trainee, stagiaire, I don't know what you'd call it, whatever you want to call it, and he looked to be about 19 years old, so he was the one that was prepping me. Anyway, they prep you, and it's really interesting to be awake during it all, because you get to see, you actually get to see them take the eggs out. You get to hear the comments, and I was really happy because the comments were good. The last time the comments were nil, and I had the impression that things weren't going really well, and that the eggs didn't look so great, and that I didn't have so many. But this time there were lots of compliments from the doctor about how everything looked good, and how she was pleased with how many were on this side and how many were on this side. So I was happy about that. There was a little bit of pain, I have to admit. It was more like a pressure pain, no worse than a bit of heavy cramping. Even though there was that pressure, I chose not to say that it hurt. It wasn't because I was trying to keep a brave face. It was just that the last time when I said that it hurt and I talked about it, it seemed like they backed away from getting all of the eggs. And I was really disappointed about that. I felt like there were more eggs to get, and the fact that I kept saying I was a little bit uncomfortable, it was always tolerable. But the fact that I said it, it made them kind of hurry up and do it faster, and that might be a drawback to being awake. They're too worried about your state of mind and the pain that you're experiencing or whatever. But it really isn't that painful. I think one of the most painful things about going under anesthesia, which is much worse than any of all of this, is to get the to have them put that catheter in your vein of your hand. Your hand's a very sensitive area, and they always put that catheter in the hand. And I didn't want to have to go through that, because I have sort of shallow veins, and they always seem to have a problem with it, and it seems like it's always a rookie searching for that vein. So It's one of the other reasons why I don't like to go under. And I think it's a very good one because they keep that catheter in for a good long time after you go through the whole process. And they keep you hooked up to a drip, and it's really difficult to sleep afterwards. So anyway, but that all went well, and then I went back to my room to recuperate, which I really only had mild cramps, and I felt a little bit bloated, and I slept a good hour. And a couple of hours later, they came in and they told me the results. They told me that they had 20 eggs, and I was very happy about that. I was very relieved. I didn't know the quality at that point. I've had a lot of eggs in the past with another IVF, and in fact I had 27, and the quality was really bad. So I know that doesn't mean a lot when you have a lot of eggs, but it's actually, I don't know why, but it's a good feeling, and it made me feel good. So I was happy about that. Anyway, they told me that I'd be coming back in 2 days for a transfer. That seemed awfully quick to me. It always does. I think I'd rather they wait till 3 days, but that's how they do it at my hospital. You're either 2 days or you're 5 days, and I was a 2-dayer, so so today was the day that I went back. They don't give you the report about the eggs and how they fertilized for the 2 days, and you can't call and ask. So for the past 2 days, or day and a half, really, I've kind of been stressed about it, thinking and imagining the worst case scenario, which is that all the eggs died in the laboratory, and I would go in and they would tell me that I would have nothing. Everybody always worries about that, because that means you have to start all over at the next IVF. When I went into the doctor's office to hear the report, she told me that 18 of the eggs had fertilized. And this was news that almost made me fall off my chair. Because every time I've been in before, they've told me I had bad egg quality. So the fact that 18 actually fertilized and were still thriving blew me away. I pressed for some details because in France they don't generally tell you the quality. They don't like to divulge a lot of information. Maybe it's not that they don't like to, but they don't. So when I pressed them for the quality, the doctor told me that 4 were of B grade, and the rest were C grade. And I told them immediately that I wanted to transfer 3, which is the maximum you can convince them to transfer. 3 of those B grades, give them to me now. I would have taken 4 if they would have let me, to be honest. And so they did. They transferred 3 B grade, 4-celled embryos. So I'm a pretty happy girl, but I've got a few days wait in front of me to see what happens. So it's going to be really entertaining to stand by and watch me freak out for the next 2 weeks, because that's probably what's going to happen. I'm sure of it. I'm going to be obsessively cleaning for the next 2 weeks. Maybe it will work this time, who knows? Maybe. Maybe not. Can't see into the future.